What if everything you believe about money is only half true, or maybe even completely wrong? What if I told you that money is not just something you earn at a job, not just something you save in a bank, and not even something that is backed by gold or physical value anymore? What if money is actually a system, a tool, and more importantly, a game with rules that most people never learn? Every day, millions of people wake up, go to work, earn money, spend money, and repeat the same cycle. They believe this is the only way money works. Work hard, get paid, save what you can, and hope that someday it will be enough. But here is the uncomfortable truth: that cycle alone does not lead to wealth. In fact, for most people, it leads to financial stress, rising expenses, and a constant feeling of being behind. Now, think about this. Why do some people seem to build massive wealth while others stay stuck, even when they work just as hard or sometimes even harder? Why do some people grow their money while others struggle just to keep it? The answer is not luck. It is not just intelligence. And it is not just about working harder. The difference is understanding how money actually works. Money is not just paper or numbers in your bank account. Money is a system created by governments, controlled by central banks, and expanded by commercial banks. It flows through the economy in ways that most people never think about. And here is the most surprising part. The way money moves is designed to encourage spending, borrowing, and investing. It is not designed to reward people who simply hold on to cash. This means that if you are only saving money and not investing it, your money is quietly losing value over time. If you are only earning money from your job and not building assets, you are playing the game at a disadvantage without even realizing it. Meanwhile, people who understand the system are playing a completely different game. They are not just working for money. They are making money work for them. They are using assets, investments, and leverage to grow their wealth over time. And here is the part most people miss. Money is not just about how much you have. It is about how money flows, how it is created, and how it is used. Once you understand these principles, everything changes. You stop seeing money as something scarce and start seeing it as something that can be created, multiplied, and directed. In this video, we are going to break down how money actually works in the real world. Not the simplified version you learned in school, but the real system that influences inflation, banking, debt, and wealth creation. By the end of this video, you will understand why the rich get richer, how money is actually created, and what you can do to stop playing the game blindly and start playing it strategically. Because once you understand how money really works, you will never look at your income, your savings, or your future the same way again. Now, let's break it down. Most people believe money works in a very simple and straightforward way. You go to work, you earn money, you spend some of it, and you save whatever is left. If you want more money, you either work harder, work longer hours, or try to find a higher paying job. That is the basic model most people follow throughout their entire lives. On the surface, this seems reasonable. It feels safe, predictable, and responsible. But there is a hidden problem in this way of thinking. It limits how far you can go financially when your only source of income is your time. Your income has a ceiling. You only have 24 hours in a day. Even if you maximize every hour, you still cannot break past a certain limit. This is what keeps most people stuck in the same financial position for years, sometimes even decades. When more money enters the system, the value of each unit of money decreases. This means your money buys less over time. So even if you are saving money, the real value of your savings can slowly go down without you realizing it. This creates a major problem. If you are only saving money and not investing it, you are actually losing purchasing power over time. The real problem is not that people are lazy or incapable. The real problem is that they are operating with incomplete information. They are playing a complex financial system without fully understanding the rules. And in any system like this, those who understand the rules have a major advantage over those who do not. This is why some people seem to build wealth faster, even if they do not work harder than others. They are simply using a different approach. Now that we understand the problem, the next step is to break down how money actually works behind the scenes. To understand how money actually works, we need to go beyond the simple idea of earning and spending. Money today is part of a much larger system that includes central banks, commercial banks, government policies, and global markets. At its core, money is a medium of exchange. It is used so that people do not have to trade goods directly. Instead of swapping a bag of rice for a shirt, we use money as a middle step. This makes trade easier, faster, and more flexible. But here's where things get interesting. Modern money is mostly digital. It is not backed by gold or stored as physical cash in vaults like many people imagine. Instead, most of the money in circulation exists as numbers in bank accounts. This is where the banking system plays a powerful role. When a bank gives out a loan, it does not just hand over existing money. It actually creates new money in the process. This is done through what is often called credit creation. Now let's look at how wealthy individuals think differently. Instead of holding large amounts of cash, they convert their money into assets. Assets are things that have the potential to grow in value or generate income. Examples include stocks, real estate, and businesses. These assets can increase in value over time, sometimes at a rate higher than inflation. There is also an important concept called leverage. Leverage means using borrowed money to increase your ability to invest. When used wisely, leverage allows you to control larger assets with less of your own capital. This is where the financial system becomes powerful. People who understand how to use assets and leverage can grow their wealth faster than those who rely only on earned income. Another key idea is that money flows through the economy in cycles. It is earned, spent, invested, saved, and borrowed. Each of these actions affects how money moves. Wealth is not just about how much money you have at a single moment. It is about how you manage the flow of money over time. People who understand this focus on building systems that generate money continuously. They invest in assets that produce income. They reinvest their returns. They use money to create more money. Meanwhile, people who do not understand the system often focus only on working and saving. While this is important, it does not fully take advantage of how money works in the modern economy. So the key takeaway here is this: money is not just something you hold. It is something that moves. It is created, it flows through the system, and it can be used strategically to build wealth. Now that you understand the foundation, let's look at how this plays out in the real world. To see how money actually works in practice, let's look at how some of the wealthiest individuals use the financial system to their advantage. Take investors like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. A large portion of their wealth is not held in cash. Instead, it is tied up in assets like stocks and company ownership. Now here's something most people do not realize. These individuals often do not sell their assets to access money. Instead, they use their assets to borrow money. For example, if someone owns a large amount of valuable stock, they can use that stock as collateral to take out a loan. This allows them to access cash without selling their shares. Why is this important? Because if they sell their assets, they may have to pay significant taxes on the gains. By borrowing instead, they can access money without triggering a taxable event. This is a powerful strategy that shows how the wealthy think differently. They do not just focus on income, they focus on control, leverage, and efficiency. Let's look at another example. Real estate investors often use loans to buy properties. They do not wait until they have enough cash to buy a property outright. Instead, they use a small amount of their own money and borrow the rest. Once they own the property, they rent it out. The rental income helps pay back the loan. Over time, the property may increase in value while the loan decreases. In this way, they are using other people's money to build wealth. This is one of the most common applications of leverage in the financial system. Now compare this to how most people manage money. Many people focus on earning a salary, paying bills, and saving whatever is left. They may keep money in a bank account or a low-interest savings account. While this approach is safe, it does not fully use the power of the financial system. The money is not working actively to grow. Instead, it is sitting idle or growing very slowly. Meanwhile, wealthier individuals are constantly putting their money into assets that generate returns. They are not just saving, they are investing, reinvesting, and expanding their financial position over time. This creates a compounding effect. As their assets grow, their ability to generate more money also increases. This creates a cycle where money makes more money. This is the real difference. It is not about working harder or being lucky. It is about understanding how to use money as a tool. There are also institutional examples. Large companies and governments use similar principles. They borrow money to invest in growth, infrastructure, and expansion. They understand that controlled use of debt can accelerate progress when used responsibly. The key point from these examples is simple. The financial system is designed to move money, not just store it. Those who understand how to move money effectively gain a significant advantage. They use assets, They use leverage, and they focus on long-term growth instead of short-term accumulation. And now that you have seen how this works in the real world, the next step is to understand what this means for you and how you can apply these ideas in your own financial life. So what should you take away from all of this? First, money is not just something you earn and spend. It is a system that you need to understand and use intentionally. If you treat money as just a paycheck-to-paycheck tool, you will stay stuck in that cycle. But if you start treating money as a system, your entire approach changes. Second, inflation is always working in the background. Even when you are not spending money, its value is changing. This means saving alone is not enough. You need to put your money into things that grow faster than inflation, so your wealth actually increases over time instead of shrinking. Third, assets are the foundation of wealth. If you want to build real financial security, you need to focus on acquiring assets that can grow in value or generate income. This is what separates long-term wealth builders from people who only rely on earned income. Fourth, money is about flow, not just accumulation. It is not about how much money you have sitting in your account at one moment. It is about how money moves through your life over time. People who understand this do not just save money. They invest it, reinvest it, and put it to work. They create systems where money keeps generating more money, even when they are not actively working. Fifth, debt is a tool, not just a risk. Most people fear debt because they see it as something dangerous. And yes, uncontrolled debt can be harmful. But when used correctly, debt can help you grow wealth faster by giving you access to opportunities you would not have otherwise. The key is understanding the difference between good debt and bad debt. Bad debt takes money away from you. Good debt helps you build or acquire assets that increase your net worth over time. Finally, and most importantly, knowledge is your biggest advantage. Most people never take the time to learn how money actually works. They follow the same patterns, make the same mistakes, and hope for different results. But once you understand the system, you are no longer operating blindly. You start making informed decisions. You start thinking differently about spending, saving, investing, and borrowing, and that is where the real change begins. You do not need to be rich to start thinking like the wealthy. You just need to understand the principles they use. Start small. Focus on learning. Focus on building assets. Focus on making better financial decisions over time. Because in the end, wealth is not just about how much money you have. It is about how well you understand money and how effectively you use it. And once you see money clearly, you will realize that it is not just something you chase. It is something you can control. If you want to truly understand how money works, how wealth is built, and how the financial system actually operates behind the scenes, then you are in the right place, because most people will go their entire lives without ever learning this. They will work, earn, spend, and save without ever realizing that there is a deeper system guiding all of it. But you do not have to stay in that group. When you start understanding money, you start making better decisions. You begin to see opportunities where others see confusion. You begin to think in terms of assets instead of just income. You begin to understand how money moves, grows, and compounds over time. And that is exactly what this channel is about. T the Geeky Investor. We break down complex financial concepts into simple, clear ideas that you can actually use in your real life. Whether it is investing, wealth building, or understanding how the financial system works, the goal is to give you knowledge that puts you ahead. So if you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe to the Geeky Investor, because the earlier you understand how money works, the sooner you can start using it to your advantage.